Hi there, and welcome to the next video in this teaching series, Twin Flames Healing Journey. This is Molly McCord, and in these videos I share with you more understanding of this connection and dynamic of twin flames, what it's about, why you go through so much pain, but also why you go through so much potential healing. So in this video, we're going to talk about just that, the soul wounds and the soul healing, because it's such a strong theme for you, and I hope to give you a higher understanding and deeper perspective, to really go into what this is all about, because you're going to make some really big breakthroughs and get some significant aha moments with this information. It's like you could go to counseling for years, okay? But this information could just make everything clearer, and it could put it all into alignment for you. At least that's my intention. That's what I hope. So let's just get started. Now, I started talking about twin flames back in 2012. I did a topic on my radio show about soulmates, twin flames, and kindred spirits, the different energies and connections that exist between those three energies. And so I'm going to try to link to that radio show in case you want to listen to it. And I myself have been on this twin flame mission for over 10 years. Not that I knew it at the time. It was only later that I realized it. You can probably relate to that too. But I made the connection between all the different characteristics of a twin flame and what that is about. So what helps to move the energy and to move you along on your journey is to understand the wounding. And it typically relates to a childhood issue of acceptance and rejection. A childhood issue around how to receive love, how to be loved, how to feel loved. And that plays out through the parent of the opposite sex. So for the divine masculine, he is healing something with his mother or his relationship to maternal energy. And for the divine feminine, she is healing something with her father or her relationship with God the Father or paternal energy. And what this is meant to do is make you whole within yourself, within your own masculine and feminine energies. Because we all come in with some type of programming or conditioning about what it means to be a little girl or to be a little boy, and what you do to then be lovable and to be loved. And as you grow up, you learn what is acceptable, whether that's in your family, your immediate nuclear family or your family of origin, or in your community, in your culture, anything around you that is conditioning you into what it means to be accepted. Because we all have like a primal fear of rejection. And so it's almost like I'll do anything not to experience the pain and hurt of rejection. But spoiler, because that's exactly what happens on this twin flame journey, is you experience rejection at some point down the line that is really painful and really hard. And so when you're growing up, this childhood wound first comes up. It can be between the ages of 7 and 14 or in your teenage years even, that shows you that pain. And that pain then becomes something you subconsciously avoid. You're like, I am never going to experience that hurt again, and I never want to do that again, so I'm going to do what I need to do to receive love. And you do that specifically through the parent of the opposite sex, because that is the parent who mirrors your relationship with that inner energy. So for the divine masculine, the mother is his first experience of feminine energy. And for the divine feminine, her father is that first experience of masculine energy. And so that becomes integrated into you. And so I'm just going to speak in my own words here, just to eliminate some of the back and forth in these examples. So, for example, when you're a female, your father is your first example of how to give and receive love from the opposite gender, the opposite sex, And it's how you are conditioned to be in relationships. And so then you are unconsciously drawn to people like your father. If you're the masculine, you're drawn to people like your mother. You don't realize it. You're working something out with them. And ultimately what you're working out is that inner relationship between your own masculine and feminine energy. And so you're working to accept yourself, who you really are. But there are barricades because there's something about that parent that doesn't accept all of you. And so you can't accept all of yourself because that would potentially mean you don't get the love that you really need. And so there's this, it sets up this unhealthy inner tension where you date people like your father or like your mother to change the outcome. And so you date them or you marry them or you're just connected to them in other ways, and you're always looking for a different outcome. But at the same time, you're always looking to be accepted. So it's this weird like teeter-totter of, I'm not really happy with this, but I know this is love. But I want more, but this is safe. Well, I know how to be in this situation, so it's a comfort zone, but it's not fully everything or all of who I am. And so what happens is you end up in these relationships with people who are the same energy as that parent, and those relationships never work. They continue to cause you heartache, heartbreak, pain, emotional wounds, and rejection, because you're working out something with that parent through a partner. Now, I've seen this show up with some clients where they're working out something with that parent at work. For example, I knew this one woman, a client of mine, who was trying to work out some stuff with her father, but ultimately it showed up as her boss at work, and she was never satisfied, never valued, never seen, and she couldn't understand why. And then when she understood that manager was the archetype of her father, then she could see what needed to shift. And we do this intelligently, actually, because we attract other people to work out this stuff with because it's too damn scary to work it out with that parent directly. Because then you really could feel rejected. Then you really feel judged. Then you really feel a lack of love. And we've been conditioned to believe that parents are a source of love. Well, as you grow up and as you mature and you become especially more spiritually advanced, you detach and you see your parent as an individual. And you no longer put them in that role of a parent that you need something from. You put them in that role of, this is a person who is an adult and this is how they do relationships, or this is how they do parenting. And then you see how you were on the receiving end of that and what it caused for you. And so what typically happens for twin flames is that you break free of that programming and you do something different. Like you date rebelliously, or you date someone who's not allowed, who's not permissible. But then what happens is you get the backlash from that parent. So you see how all this is working out? And it all comes from what you believed, your belief systems, when you didn't know any different, when you didn't know any better, and you didn't understand that you could choose what you wanted. And so part of this twin flame energy is that, well, you're actually attracted to someone who's wildly different. And that person is not someone that's approved by the mother or the father. And it's perfect because ultimately you're choosing someone who is meant to heal you because they are different from that parent and that archetype, right? Like that's really the only way to heal it, is that you need someone different because you've done that merry-go-round. Like you've been on that merry-go-round how many times with how many relationships that are all the same, and you're like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm exhausted, I'm too hurt, I'm wounded, I'm just tired of it, it doesn't satisfy me, and you get off the merry-go-round, and that's when you find that person who helps heal you because they're different. And that's why it's healing, you see? But by not being on that merry-go-round, you then are choosing someone that the mother doesn't approve of, the father doesn't approve of, because it's not the same energy, right? It's not the same energy dynamic. So the soul wounds and the soul healing pertain to what you learned in childhood and what you're ready to elevate and change and ultimately to choose for yourself. And it's hard work. It's often unconscious work. And until you see the connections between all these people and that opposite parent. Now, this doesn't, for everyone, it might not be a biological parent. It could even be your experience of a certain parental figure who was damaging, distant, who disappeared, who abandoned you, who was abusive. You know, it's something ultimately. Okay, here's the next part of it. You think it's something you're working out with your mother. You think it's something you're working out with your father. Ultimately, it's something you're working out with the energy of a mother and the energy of a father, which I believe connects to God the Father, Mother Mary, the ultimate archetypes of mother and father love, and how it's unconditional. Because unconditional love is spiritual love, right? Whereas human love is often conditional, right? Do this and you'll be loved, or stay in line and you'll be a good boy, or do what you're told and you'll be a good girl. Conditional. But what you're looking to connect with is unconditional love, because that's the theme of Twin Flames, that unconditional love. And so you're not going to find it. It's like you're not going to get water at a dry well. You're not going to get that unconditional love from people who operate on conditions. And so your twin flame, who is your mirror, opens up more of your ability to love unconditionally, to expand your definition of love, to see it in a different way. They have to be different in order for you to see it, or else you would miss it, or else it wouldn't be anything big, right? Or else you wouldn't be a twin flame, honestly. Like, that's part of this experience. It's someone different. They're younger than you. They're older than you. They didn't meet your checklist of who you thought you would marry. They don't belong in your same culture, your ethnicity, your group, blah, 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 right? Think of all the differences. And this is why it's perfect, because that is where the healing happens. The healing happens in the fact that they are different, because that allows you to heal the part of yourself that always felt different or rejected or abandoned or judged. You know, take your pick. The list is long of all the ways we feel lack of love. And so the greatest healing in this journey is understanding that you are accepted by someone else on the planet who sees you, who gets it, who understands, and energetically the two of you are a powerhouse because of your ability to accept and see one another. Now, just a second, I'm looking here. I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay. So, this is so beautiful. I'm seeing a rainbow. And the rainbow, it's kind of cheesy, but let's just go with it. One end of the rainbow is connected to the divine masculine, and the other end of the rainbow is connected to the divine feminine, okay? And they exist in two different paradigms for a while. And the divine masculine is very much in his ego, mental, logical mind. Because that's a strength, truly, is that is where he is practical and looks for physical proof and is about, money and survival and his career and status and all these things that matter. Spiritually, it is the bottom three chakras: root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus. The other end of the rainbow is the divine feminine energy, and her strengths are in the emotional and intuitive and spiritual realms. And she is activated in those areas first, so she feels it all, she intuits it all. Maybe she doesn't know how to always communicate it or say it, but she gets the energy of it, she feels it, it's there. The feminine is the top three chakras: throat chakra, third eye, and the seventh chakra, the crown chakra. The rainbow between the two is the energy connection there, okay, that is always on. It gets dimmed down, it gets turned off, but it's still there. It doesn't go away. If you've heard my other videos, I talk about the computer software, the programming that's always talking to each other. It just gets louder or turned off at times, but it's always running between the two. And this rainbow unites and activates where the other is weak. And so for the divine masculine, it gets activated in his throat chakra, speaking his truth, his third eye, being able to see it, intuit, and his crown chakra, which is the spiritual knowing and spiritual growth. That gets activated. In the divine feminine, it gets activated in her root chakra, which is grounding and money. In her sacral chakra, the survival and the ability to take care of herself. And in the solar plexus chakra, which is her power, her sense of self, and the healthy ego. Now, all of this comes together, and it meets in the heart chakra. Because there's 7 chakras, right? And the heart chakra is in the middle. It's the green heart chakra. And that's where these energies all come together and meet, and they all light up. It's like turning on the light to full blast in all of these energy fields. And that is when the rainbow connection, isn't that a song? I think it's a song from the 80s, the Rainbow Connection. Oh, no, from the Muppets, right? Oh, a Muppet movie. Oh, gosh. Anyways, there's something about it that gets lit up because when they have both awakened to who they are, what they're about, what they can do, the healing has happened. The healing gets activated even more. And they do that for each other, okay? They do that for each other. And they create the higher understandings and knowingness of true love. True love. And this is, the twin flame is a true love connection. It's timeless. It's beyond the physical. It's beyond what we've been taught. It's like, it's beyond human comprehension, if you will. Like it's not in your head. It's not mental or logical. It's bigger. And so that is what gets activated with this rainbow, and that's what gets activated within each twin, and that's when the healing happens. But there's also, okay, so the reason why I feel this rainbow is it's because it's support for one another, or support, and you feel it, right, when when someone's going through something really hard or really tough, and you want to help them heal and move through it so that they can get to the other side and to know that it will change and it won't always be this way. And that's also part of the healing, is that when you do the inner work to heal yourself, you then emulate that out, and you can give that to others. And you give that love, and you give that support. So that's why it's really important for each person to do their own inner work, because the other feels it, but that's how you support the other, okay? Is understanding that all you can do is clean up your side of the street, right? You can't do someone else's work for them in this stuff. But when you do that, you raise the energy, you raise the vibration, and that does more than you know. It does more than you know. And that's what you can do to support the other and to help the healing for all these wounds. I mean, the wounds are so deep and so hard in relationships for twin flames. I have another video about relationship pains. Please listen to that one, because I give the visual of being a pinball. Like you're the pinball in a pinball machine, and you're just getting, pushed around, and it feels like, why can't I figure this out? Listen to that video, please, and I hope that provides you with more perspective. So the soul wounds stem from family. It's all perfect. It doesn't mean that that family member is bad or evil or anything like that. We know that everyone has good in them, everyone has a purpose, but it's meant to be a catalyst for you to see your own inner relationship with your masculine and feminine energies, because that's where your power is. And that's what each of us gets to claim, because that's actually where each of us is fully activated. That's where miracles happen, breakthroughs happen, understanding happens. It's really huge. So it's all set up. The soul wounds and the soul healing are set up to help you heal more within yourself and to get to the other side of that rainbow. I don't know why that makes me laugh. I think because it sounds so cheesy. But it's also beautiful, right? Like, how many times are you driving and you see a rainbow, and it's thrilling and it's unexpected, and the rainbow comes out after the storm because the storm is past, and you're on the other side, and you're meant to see more of the colors of life. Okay, I feel like this message is complete for now. Please check out my other videos on these topics, and I hope that these are helping you. You can listen to these videos over and over again if you need to. And I intentionally put them out here so that you can do that, okay? I want you to have access to this information because everyone benefits when you start to feel stronger in yourself and more accepting of yourself. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.